I'm introducing this vlog from the following vlog because I'm only just starting to put this one together, and I thought it needed a bit of an introduction. So this is mostly going to be garden. It is a really big spring catch up because I just haven't found the time to do it, and I've been doing other stuff with the band. So I'm very late to putting it together, so late that I'm into the next vlog. So yeah, this is basically a bit of a catch up on what happened with my kind of health, and then predominantly a garden update, which is I finally get to kind of transform my garden into what I've been wanting it to be for a really long time. So I hope you enjoy. I have finally found the energy to go out for an early morning walk. I don't know what's come over me. Just had my coffee. It's 7:30. Guys, blossom on this street. A street which I never normally go down, but I overshot it because I was talking to you. Look at that. Chunky monkeys. They are so impressive. So our one at home in our garden is not as robust as these. It's very delicate. It blooms for like maximum 2 weeks, but on the second week it starts to lose at any slight gust of wind, and it's snowing, and it's very pretty. But yeah, very short-lived, really small window of joy in the garden. So I had a big break from the vlogging. Why is my hair so ratty? I had a big break from the vlogging. I had a bit of a medical emergency, some of you may have seen from Instagram. I didn't really talk about what happened. I was at home on my own on a Friday, just working from home. It was about lunchtime. I'd had some back pain in the morning and I was stretching my lower back, but it was so tight and inflamed. Now, I have asthma, and there comes a sort of risk with asthma when you take ibuprofen of respiratory issues, and also naproxen, its kind of stronger older sibling, which is an NSAID, which is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. Don't know what the D stands for. And that's very powerful, and I very rarely take it. I generally don't get on with it, just don't like the way it makes me feel. And I decided to take it, and within about 10 minutes my throat started to feel funny, my voice started to go. I was supposed to be going out to karaoke in the evening, and my first thought was, oh my god, I'm coming down with something. Why am I losing my voice? And then I realised it was my whole throat and my airway closed up. Now, I'm on my own, so I don't know. I didn't go into a panic. I will talk about that maybe separately. But I phoned Chris and I was like, I can't really breathe properly. It's not asthma. And then I decided to phone 111. Cue an absolutely comedy moment where you have to tell the robot the nature of your illness, and I was there going respiratory, and then they're like, and it was like, we can get you a translator. I could not believe it, and so I thought, fuck this, I'm phoning 999, and it was definitely the right thing to do. I would have ended up getting an ambulance anyway, and it just would have taken a lot longer through 111. It came, I was able to speak to the person, and the ambulance came within 6 minutes, which was unbelievable. And 2 amazing paramedics. Apparently I had a rash on my neck, which I hadn't realised, and they gave me an adrenaline shot. And now, a million questions later, nothing that I'm aware of would have triggered it apart from the naproxen. Nothing was new to me, no other, nothing I'd eaten or used that day would have triggered it. So they took me into the ambulance out on the street and gave me an ECG. As they were doing that, they asked me whether or not it was working, and it cleared a little bit. It opened up a little bit, but it had not opened up fully, at about halfway. They debated give me a second one because it's quite a lot for your body to take, and I was already like shaking, I was shaking like I've never shaken before. And that was after one. And I was like, look, I just want to be able to breathe. And they were happy to give it to me. And I just don't really think that I understood how much of a impact that was going to have on my entire body. We went to the hospital and we were waiting in the corridor, and I was fine. I was just really shaky, and then suddenly I felt like I dropped off a cliff. I felt like I was going to pass out. Everything, like, you know, and they talk about that sense of impending doom. I was just like, I just looked up to the woman, like, and I was like, no, I'm going to go. I thought I was going to pass out. So they got me in. I waited around for a bit, had an ECG. Basically, they do think it was some kind of... Do you know what? They couldn't recreate it with any kind of test. So they're still only speculating. They gave me some steroids, more ECGs, more monitoring, and I stayed in, got moved to like this sort of like waiting ward. Like a ward, but with seats instead of beds. And then I was there until 6 p.m. They gave me an EpiPen. Chris met me at the hospital. They made him go to the pharmacy and get the prescription, and then kind of sent me on my way. And then, so that was Friday. 3 days later, on Monday, there's a risk within 72 hours that you could have what they call a biphase reaction. And I had a biphase reaction on the Monday afternoon. I didn't go to work on Monday. Monday afternoon, Chris was with me. And it was not anywhere near as bad as before, but it was definitely there. And I think at that point, I started to panic. And I remember the words of the consultant ringing in my ears, which was, do not hesitate to use it if you feel like you have another reaction. And when you use it, you have to go to hospital afterwards. You have to phone 999 when you use it. So it is still a big deal. It's not nothing if you use it. And so Chris, absolutely terrified, used it on me. I was then starting to shake like crazy and find an ambulance. So it happened all over again. More ECGs, more hospital. And this time they gave me steroids for 4 days. A course of steroids, which should prevent like a relapse reaction. And it was so funny because the doctor was like, well, they didn't give them to me the first time because I never had a history of biphase reactions. But then I'd never had an allergic reaction at all. So they actually had no way of knowing if I was going to have a biphase reaction. And so I think they should have just given them to me, just in case. So anyway, since then, I've been all right. And I now have allergy referral pending. So I will wait and see if the test comes back with anything. But sometimes you can have these reactions and like they can be complete weird one-offs. So we wait, and until I know what I'm allergic to, I have to carry 2 EpiPens with me. I don't have to, but I choose to because it was a scary thing to happen. So yeah, going back to the moment when it happened and talking about panic, I was freakishly calm. I was honestly like, oh, I appear to not be able to breathe. And I think it could be that I went into a true survival mode, because if I had panicked, I wouldn't have been able to help myself. So I think something kind of kicked in so that I could calmly phone 999 and get myself the help. It was the strangest, eeriest feeling of calm. Yeah. So that's what's been happening. I had the week off work, which rolled into the Easter weekend. Oh my God, finally getting to sit down. Look at this view. Love it. Yeah, so I had the week off to recover. Oh, it's windy. Sorry. So yeah, it's been a lot to take in. It was a big old shock. So yeah. And then I looked up and it's spring. We ended up doing a bit to the garden. I think it's going to be good. I think we've got a bit more of a solid plan. If anyone remembers my garden posts from the end of last year, we did a lot of just moving gravel around, which is still kind of the case. And I'm trying to buy some new gravel to kind of zone the different kinds of gravel. How exciting, it's just solid gravel. Hopefully I'll get to show you guys what I'm doing. Whew. It's been a very long time since I was here. Oh, what an absolute stunner. You can hear, I don't know if you can hear that, there's a woodpecker somewhere in that direction. Look. Just appreciating the red on the fuchsia. And the lavender's starting to come out. I guess what I'm hoping to do for our garden is there's a whole side that gets basically all of the sun, and we've never really planted it, and it's just got some ratty lawn up to the fence, and I'd like to have sort of gravelly Mediterranean style garden, still really influenced by that amazing house that we stayed in Provence and all of the incredible lavender. That and a sort of shingle beach vibe. And then this is my favourite bit. It's very, very secret garden. Absolute hidden gem. I don't think I've ever been here this early when there's no one around. It's really quite popular on the weekends. Wowzers, look at all that euphorbia. Oh, that is some serious euphorbia action. Let me slow down. It's not very nice to be all shaken up watching this. But look at that. Wow. Oh, not focusing. There we go. This is definitely our favourite gardens. There's a woodpecker. I'm honestly having the nicest morning. Oh my God, I just did my bird identifying app, and there's loads of birds I've never captured before. There's a dunnock, a Eurasian nuthatch, and my woodpecker is a great spotted woodpecker. Honestly, I'm so excited. Oh my God, such a geek. Right, I think I'm gonna go. It's been enough of a walk with me today. Well, if you think I talked for a lot there, I've actually been out for an hour and a half. Look what little shits did. Which is really weird because we've had, bags of soil out here before. That's never happened. And we literally just, I the whole patio. So I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. Here's my fig. Fig has started to come out. I repotted it, gave him a new home. Look at this, so cute. And look. Oh, it's all windy. Look at my little fig. I'm so excited. Look, it's not even the size of my thumb. It's the cutest thing. So, current situation down the end of the garden is that I have moved all of the existing horrible gravel into the middle to create a kind of path, and I'm just gonna have planting either side. So I'm gonna zone this bit in front of the shed, which gets the absolute least amount of sun. And then on this side, over in the corner, we're going to plant a jasmine. We've ripped down the old trellis and we've bought a new fence panel, which is there. All right, crows. And I don't know how we put that up. This area is an absolute nightmare. I think we might have to get a professional because I do not feel confident in doing that. And then all along here, there's going to be similar planting, ferns, euphorbias. And all of this is going to be nice new gravel in a sort of shingle beach style. And what I've started to do is cut a curve, so basically the area is going to extend into the lawn. This area of ratty lawn, which I've always hated, and which, like, oh, there you go, foxes have dug a new hole, is going to be some nice new clean gravel. I was just putting that there to visualise. So I've actually cut the lawn. This is what I always do. I put stones down to mark the shape, and then I cut with a lawn cutter. So I've actually already cut it. Now, right, we're coming to this bit. I did get some gravel already, some stones, and I don't like it. I mean, it actually looks incredible, and that's not kind of what I'm talking about. It's not the right colour, because if you look, it's a lot brighter than that grey gravel down there, and I wanted that gravel in the middle of the path to be the brightest, and then to have like the more shingle golden beach gravel around where the seating area is, and then all up here to plant in. And I didn't realise the colour until it was laid. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm not going to waste it, going to do the same on this side and have like a little gravel stone moat, because what happens is we can't really mow the lawn up against the steel. It makes it very difficult. I end up putting like the wheel of the lawnmower over the steel, which is really not good because then the blade hits it. Anyway, it's horrible. So this is like a little road for the lawnmower wheel. So yeah, I think I'm going to transfer that over to that side, and then I bought, they didn't get into it, I bought golden gravel, which is a bit more like a shingle beach sort of colour. So I only bought 2 just in case it's wrong, because that last one was wrong. And if it's right, I'll trial that out today and we'll buy some more. But yeah, you see how the sun comes on this side. It's very lovely. My verbenas are kind of coming back. Well, that one is definitely coming back. This one, I think, may be dead. It's basically, I think it's kind of dead wood. And now the black fence stain. This is going to be painted black and installed at the end, and then I think I'm going to kind of zone things and just do these last 2 panels black, and we'll see how we go. It might look weird stopping there. Ideally, I would like to paint the whole thing black, because then you get that amazing contrast between like the green, bright green plants with the black background. Yeah, so this is not quite before, but it's in progress. And then, all right, little squeaky bum. Hey, come here. It's me. I feel like I may struggle to get any work done with you around. I think you're in a playful mood as well. Cool. So this is what happens when you leave your gardening gloves outside. Not only have they completely ruined my materials and my patio, but they've also chewed my leather gloves. Great! Cutting a lawn edge is extremely satisfying. And we're done. How does that look from up here? So I'd give you a quick tour and garden update because there's been some progress. So I cut a little moat border here, filled it with gravel, then realised that it wasn't the right colour that I wanted for the rest of the garden, but I don't know, I really like it against the, oh hi Squeak, I really like it against the steel, this colour. But as we get down here, I don't know how I'm going to transition that. Or do I just make all of it the golden gravel? Who knows? Start to do some planting. The soil is really quite poor quality, so I tried to rake in some good compost underneath before I put the weed suppressant down. And okay, I can't even be bothered to talk about this area and this bit of gravel, but over here we've done some planting, which is what I really wanted to achieve, and have like a lot of green popping against the black there, and it's a new fence. It's a fox-proof new fence. We had some guys come and install it yesterday because it was definitely beyond our skills, and what I'm going to do is just put a lot of this gravel into that section, and yeah, hopefully I will be getting rid of this gravel. Hello. And yeah, I had to do the same thing on this side with the moat digging because we've got this sweet wood ruff and we've had it a number of years, but look, it has just exploded and it's basically kind of invasive. So it was coming through into the grass, and I think there might still be a little bit in the grass, but I tried to it's like cutting out a cancer. I just had to cut out all the roots, and this bit is extremely difficult because it's like a carpet of roots underneath the soil there. And also I'm quite worried about this lavender and also my big cherry tree because the oh, what are those things called, like the spores or the seeds or whatever, it begins with R, they are going to be in the soil. So I'm not really sure what to do. I'm worried that we might have to just cover it up for a while, and make sure that it all dies back. Okay, it's happening. Project make all of this shit back. I'm using the Cuprinol Ducks back. It's a stain, but it's really, really thick and it basically goes on like paint. So it's just, my only issue is it's going to really show up this painted shed. I used actual paint on the shed, and it hasn't really lasted very well. So I'm thinking, oh, it probably won't work. I don't think you can put stain over paint, but you know, when you start one thing and then it makes something else look really shit, and so you end up doing absolutely everything. I don't want to get into that state, but it might be what happens. It's Charlotte's birthday, so I've been gardening all morning. That's my gym. And I'm off out. Cos dress, got it in the sale. Show you fancy back, fluffy back. I can't remember where I got this from. I think it was from Etsy. This bag, which I missed returning, so I'm just going to use it, is from H&M. Got a bit of a Miu Miu vibe, and when I got it, I was like, that's really not me, but I'm trying to make it work with the blue and the green.
Well, this is it. I don't need it to be my idea. This is exactly what I mean about it. Like, I genuinely have no idea until I read it.
Hello. I have been so hard at work over the weeks that I've completely forgotten to vlog. And I've made quite like a major amount of progress, so I can't even remember where I left off, but here we go. So I definitely done this the last time I spoke, and I've gravelled all of this, and the big breakthrough moment came when I decided to put in this Corten steel teardrop shape sort of in the middle. Otherwise it was just going to be a big path to nowhere, and I wanted you to sort of be enticed and come down here for a reason. I'm going to put a bit of planting just here as well, so you almost get like a little divide of two pathways, you know, choose your own adventure, coming into this area. Planted up these, which I think were there before, and I just bought this Acer today. I'd put this tree down there just to see what something would look like a small tree, and it changed the space so much in a positive way that I went and spent money on an Acer, because Acers are quite expensive. And in the morning the sunlight comes and hits exactly where that tree is, and I did a lot of research around Acers because they can be quite picky and they need certain soil and everything, which is why I never planted our other one, which I love. It's very sort of sculptural. I never planted this in the ground because I got the fear that it needs like acidic soil. But I just watched a YouTube of a guy who is an actual gardener and said that it was fine as long as you put the correct soil in with it. It's also in a sheltered spot and it gets partial sun, but mostly shade. So I'm hoping it's going to be okay. And then this is so beautiful. I've been doing a lot of research. This is Bleeding Hearts, and I don't know if, let me try and show you. Look, has there ever been a better name? Isn't that just the most beautiful thing ever? Very, very delicate. And they had one in my garden centre this morning, so I'd had it in my basket and online from Crocus, and then when I went this morning I thought I'm just going to go and see what there is, and they had one. I couldn't believe it. I've yet to buy planting for this area. Basically, I'm running out of money because this is... I just looked at my bank balance and I was like, wow, plants are expensive. This gravel, the whole, like, you know, there's a lot of it. I've also got to paint the fence, which it's been raining on and off. It's been the crazy week where it's been hailstorms, sunshine, more hail, more rain, like every 5 minutes. So I've not had an opportunity where it's been dry enough. I think today's quite dry. Every time I think that, I mean, look how gorgeous and sunny everything is. Every time I think that, just the clouds come over again. I know it's going to be dry at the end of this week, so I don't know if I'm just going to wait or if I'm going to be really impatient and try and do it. I reckon I can just put a tarpaulin over it if it suddenly starts chucking it down. But I did manage to power wash it the other day during my lunch break, so I'm quite pleased with that. I did both panels. This is the soil you'll need if you are going to plant Mesa, because it has for acid-loving plants. So it's called ericaceous. So I'm just going to pretty much put this whole bag in the ground around it and hope for the best. So you might notice that there's a big tree missing. Chris and I chopped that down. Well, I chopped it down and he got the root out of the ground the other day, which I was quite sad about. Like, it really did. I loved the dappled, it had these sort of leaves, and they just like gently wafted in the wind and gave dappled light. But ultimately, I really wanted to plant in this area for it to be the garden that I have the vision for. So as sad as I was to see it go, it did have to go. And this mature euphorbia has come from the border up there because I just really needed to fill the space quickly, and I knew I wanted euphorbia there because I bought euphorbias online. These two, yeah, it's not going to cut it. They are really tiny, so I would be waiting quite a while to fill this space. So I've just replanted this one down here, and I'm hoping it's not going to be traumatized by moving house. I'm half done. That took about an hour and a half or something, and you can already see how much the plants are popping against the black there. I started to get a sort of repetitive strain injury doing it, so I could, you know, I have the willpower to keep going, but I think I need a break. Let's be sensible about it. See how the light's hitting the tree in the morning. Okay, good morning everyone. We're pretty much there. I painted this yesterday, and I am very sad because I don't think this euphorbia is going to survive. It's not surviving the transplantation. So I'm going to leave it there for a while because sometimes they can go into shock and come back. So I'm just going to give it a chance before I take it out, because I really want this one to work. We've had like 2 euphorbias in our garden before, and this is one of them died, and then this is the last one. I'll be so sad if this goes, because it takes at least a year for euphorbia to come out in bloom. I've also got 3 of these little guys, which is a saxifraga erbium, and they come out with like really pretty wispy fronds, a bit like heuchera, and so I'm going to plant one here as well, just as I said, to kind of get a bit more sort of naturalistic planting actually in the gravel, so it looks like things have sort of self-seeded naturally, so it's not so kind of landscaped. And yeah, I reckon I'm 1 to 2 bags of gravels 1 to 2 bags of gravels short, which is like, oh fuck my life. Every time I order them, I'm like, this is the last bag of gravel I'm gonna get, this is the last delivery, and then I'm just short. But yeah, I think it's looking really great. This is going to be crazy hot weather this weekend. And look, I've topped it off with my Pinterest level dream coming to life with these lovely bulbs. They were on last night and they were a bit too bright, but I think we can dim them. And yeah, heatwave weekend. This is actually a real oasis. The top of the house, it's really unbearable when it gets to a heat wave. It's almost a microclimate. So this is, we sat down here yesterday and it was gorgeous and cool. So this is going to be, well, I was going to say reading nook, but it's a phone scrolling nook, isn't it, really? The garden's looking so cute, it's making this fence look really shit. I think we need to do a new stain on it. Something rich that's like the colour of the bench. I'm gonna run the gauntlet. I'm gonna run through the sprinkler. Yeah, that wasn't a good idea. Very wet. Yeah, I think something that's like this sort of rich brown would look really good. Yeah, because currently it's almost the same colour as the gravel, which is not good. But if it's a bit like darker and richer, I think that would look good.